welcome to Friday Night Tech News. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm great, Brandon. How are you doing?
Doing well. You have a good week?
I did have a good week. Did you notice that John's not here with us?
Yeah, I think.
Where is the John?
That's a good question. You didn't actually tell me where is the John.
I believe the John has gone to a wedding, so he's off. Good for him.
We allow him to escape?
I believe it or not, he got away without asking.
Yeah, he
So-
just left.
I'm hoping that he sees this in retrospect and goes, I get to do what I want. I'm like, no, you have to edit videos.
I am my own person too. Get back in the editing dungeon. Yes, you.
Turn on Premiere. You don't get fed if you don't play Premiere. Yes, sir. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. So
No, we're good. By the way, thank you all for joining us. If you have, it's been a long Friday for me.
this man needs a beer.
I got a beer here, so we'll be good to go.
Yes. I have a beer too.
So
Yeah.
what have you been up to this week? Anything cool in your home lab happening?
A few things I wanted to talk about actually. One thing was just kind of a goofiness that today I upgraded my PF Blocker NG, which is it's DNS and IP address filtering. It's a plugin for pfSense, right?
Okay.
And it just messed up my network. I mean, when I say messed up my network, let me be clear. It essentially started blocking all valid traffic in and out of the firewall, and I had to basically in essence, there's a reload function to really just kind of flush it out. It was the first time I bring it up because it's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Like typically, everything I do with pfSense. Let me tell you a story. Since I know that my family's not watching this right now, there are many times that I will do a firewall upgrade midday when I know that everybody's on the internet. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and run this. And
Fuck, I'm the king.
look, established dominance. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about here.
That was dumb saying take out the internet. Okay,
Yeah, so-
I can see that.
And so I spend all my day. I get to work from home now, which is awesome. My wife gets to work from home now too, and she's on Teams meetings. I'm
Yeah.
on Teams meetings, and I'm like, yeah, I think I can get away with this. Haven't gotten caught yet because actually it's not true. I've had her come upstairs and be like, why is the internet not working for you? I'm like, must be Ziply must be having some problems. My internet went down too, and I'm up here going, huh? All right, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, reload. So, but this was an interesting situation because it was just a regular kind of. A package update usually doesn't screw things up.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I've heard screw something up is if you do a package update without updating the actual OS of the firewall. So, like, the way that pfSense wants you to do it is you update to 5.2 whatever, and then you run all your package updates, because a lot of times the package updates call on certain pieces of software, and 90% of the time, no big deal, no worries, but it's always recommended to do packages last just in case it fails out.
Yeah, for sure. And this was no OS update on this. pfSense's update cycle for the stable releases is very low.
Yeah,
It's very wide in between.
Unless they hit critical CVEs, they almost never give you fast updates.
And it's fine. It's a firewall, right? I mean, it's based on BSD, which is inherently hardened based on, it's just what its focus of the security is. So it's unusual to get a lot of updates in it, and I mean package updates all the time. But anyway, so that was a thing.
Okay.
That was fine, but I had something cool. So I got a friend who's also into home lab. His name is John, but not to be confused with John.
Editing John.
With Editing John.
Okay.
And he turned me on to this, and I'm going to show you this. This is off of eBay. This guy right here.
Oh, good old eBay
Well,
find.
eBay find. And I'm going to post a link to it. So this is a Chelsea 422.
That copper heatsink is picking up that green.
All right, see that green screen?
nice.
Okay, I'm going to put it back here by my head. So
Yeah.
this is a Chelsea 422 CR network interface card, NIC, right? And it's got 2 cages for SFP Plus. So 2 10 gig ports and 2 1 gig ports on the same card. And they all 4 operate at the same time. It's not either or.
They're not the either or ones.
Yeah.
I know that's like if you have a cheap switch, a lot of times
Right.
they'll have
either
one or the other.
either the cage or the port, the base T. So I honestly don't have a use for it, but I think we should. I was going to ask you what you think we should do with the channel, but also, I mean, this would make a really, really awesome NIC for a firewall, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in one, right?
My first thought is firewall, though. We don't really have a box that we would use as a firewall around here, would we? That because you like to virtualize your firewall.
It is virtualized,
and I have hardware for my firewall. I have a
What are you running it on?
Super micro. What what is it, like a D525. It is.
It's like a 1U pizza box sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like a 1U,
It's
like
shallow depth.
half shallow depth server, runs like an Atom. I think the Atom D25 is in it from 2009.
Does it have enough power to handle?
It routes at 10G just fine.
Okay.
Right. I can never really test it because I max out the write speeds on all my spinning Rust disk before I even get to.
Gotcha. But you have a 500 gig or 500 megabit connection at home?
So 500 megabit, I signed up for a gigabit. I haven't gotten it yet, but I did. And my contract finally expired where I had that sweet $40 a month. It's all over now. I'm hoping that I can upgrade to the gigabit for 60 for a year, but we'll see. I probably won't get that, but
welcome to the $80 club, pal.
$80, it's not too bad.
It's worth the $8 for gigabit.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
you gonna say no? Of course not.
No, of course. Do I have an option?
You don't have an option.
Yeah,
we're gonna Comcast and have a data cap.
It's Comcast, which will give me like 100. Yeah. So
welcome to your data cap.
Yeah, so that is how I run mine because I like to have my own hardware so I can separate everything when I do virtual host updates and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's somewhat of a security benefit, but that's neither here nor there. No one's really cracked ESXi hypervisors yet through firewalls, so I think we're good on that front.
Just don't have your management interface on your WAN side, right?
Yeah, or host your vCenter in the cloud.
Yeah, host my vCenter in the
cloud. But going back. If you want to try and you can get like one of the Supermicro like D515 boards or something that has a little Xeon low power one in there, and maybe you do a custom build. Because I looked at the Supermicro like boxes for this gen or even like last gen, and they're like $600 to $1,000. Yeah, and they're too expensive for just a single firewall that is going to have that. But I do like that because then you can put your LAN on the internal 10G, and then you can have one of your 1Gs be
your 1 gig internet, right?
Or if you're lucky enough as our friends in Switzerland or other, maybe you have 2.5 gig WAN network connections or more. So you're thinking a hardware box build?
Yeah, I think so. Only because there's something to be said about the fact that when I do updates in VMware on my single ESXi host, everything goes down, right?
Yeah.
And then the family comes chasing after me with torches and pitchforks because the internet's down. And it's different than the internet's down when I'm like, oh, let's just go ahead and update the firewall, and that's just 30 seconds to reboot. No, this is like, okay, we're going to be down for maybe 45 minutes. You're going to notice that your internet's not working, and you're not going to be able to play your
Everyone just go for a walk.
No, that's not what they do. Everything's based on the internet. Everything's on the internet. But
that's fair enough. I was also thinking that'd be cool to do a. My other thought was take your scale box and make it a multi-homed storage system. So kind of what I'm going to do on my my TrueNAS I'm going to have a 10G interface, and that's my LAN, my storage net, and all that. And then I'm going to host my NSF stuff also on my LAN, but through the 4 built-in gigabit interfaces. And that way I can keep my storage traffic separate because that's what VMware really likes to have its own stuff.
Yeah, you should.
As well as the rest of that stuff. But I can access all my files straight off those NICs. And, just kind of a cool thing. I know as I'm someone who works with NetApp on a daily basis, that's one of their big features is you can like multi-home it and you can multi-tenant it and all that. But that would be like a perfect card to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I am waiting till Scale goes GA before I start to... Yeah, because even though I'm using it in a production sense, I'm making regular backups of that data to separate devices, right?
Of course, yeah.
And honestly, I'm just waiting. I'm counting.
Even this one?
I did back up.
I remember last week there was an issue where someone didn't back up their computer.
I did back up my
and then was debating their questions in life up till now.
Dude, I just backed up yesterday too. I'm like, I'm gonna back this up. So I did.
I'm like, Synology has a built-in client. We can do it easy. Like,
I'm kind of waiting for when I have a grand plan. That is when Scale goes GA. I'm planning on creating a cutover process where I put the Synology to bed because I've got 8 terabyte drives in that thing. I have 11 in there. And I want to move those over to Scale, and have Scale then be the primary storage. Put the Synology to rest because the Synology, it's dying. It's not doing a great job. It's the one thing about Synology is that they've done such a good job of making such great feature sets for their gear. Like the virtual machine backup is just bananas good.
Yeah.
Assuming you have the licensing in VMware for it, right?
Yeah.
And overall, it is a phenomenal NAS, but there's not enough horsepower in those older boxes, and I'm just getting hurt by it.
I mean, you have a 2015 one, right?
It's a 1915, I think, and it's got 4 nicks on the back, so you get 1x4 in a lag, so it's not great.
Man, I set up active backup on my Synology. Mm-hmm. Man, leaps about like as someone who works in Veeam and is fascinated by the enterprise utility and modularity of Veeam, this is at least, if not, it's not a direct competitor because Veeam is obviously more built up scale wise.
Right.
But man, it just makes, if you're a small to medium enterprise, it'll make things so much easier. I mean, you just you hook it up to vCenter and it goes finds them all, just starts a task and grabs it all, and it's a real amazing piece of software. So
I used it to a buddy of mine wanted some data off my Plex that I purged out, and because I thought he had told me he was done with that data, and he's like, hey, you still got that? And I'm like, no, but my active backup does, and I was able to just restore it straight. I didn't even have to redo, or I didn't have to deploy the VM or do a VM restore. I just had it say, I want this folder, put it back, and just whoop, and it took a hell of a long time. Put it back. Anyway, so I'll put a link down in the description if anyone's interested in this network interface card, because it is like the best of both worlds. It can help somebody transition if they're looking at going to a 10 gig world and they're on 1 gig, right? Have them both there. It's $50. It's $49.99 on eBay, and there's just a ton of them.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if it plays nice with VMware.
Yeah, I want our test box or your old rig there. I'm gonna put it in there and put VMware on just to verify it does, because the Chelsea gear works with the newer versions, but VMware just doesn't list anything past a certain point. And these came out in 2009, I think is when that card came out. So it's been out a while.
So it might have some support in it.
Right.
Or not.
So we'll figure it out. But moving on. Sorry. I wanted to say that last show we had a viewer who was like, hey, I would love to watch these live shows, but I don't have time to sit through it, but I'm in my car all the time. Can you make a podcast out of it? So is it meta for me to be talking about the podcast while you listen to the podcast?
Yeah, well, I was wondering that because you just casually dropped this in our business Discord, and you were like, hey guys, I made a podcast, and I was like, what? Okay,
how
sure.
does one make podcast?
Yeah, because I tried it a while ago and it just wasn't working out, and so you just found a way to rip it in Adobe and send it up, and it was good to go. And I'm like, amazing, but that was news to me as I received it. So
So anyway, if you don't, if video consumption is not your thing and you still want to hang out with us in a disconnected sense, I suppose, we now have this live show as a podcast that you can listen to anytime you want. A podcast? Oh, yes. So glad you asked. So but I wanted to tell you how incredibly simple it is to make a podcast these days. Found this podcast platform. It was completely free. I ended up paying for their larger bucket. So, because we'll have multi-hours of this, right? And you get 2 hours a month for free.
Yeah.
And it's just like, boop. And then I uploaded the MP3 of the show, the audio of this, and it pushed out to Apple. I had to create an Apple account for it. Pushed out to all these platforms, and it's all over. Oh my goodness, Suburban Barbecue! Happy Friday to you too, sir. And Kiwi, Michael, both of you, thank you so much for joining us. But anyway, so if you want to listen to this, you can go and search for Two Guys Tech on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your mom's podcast platform of choice. Dude, there's so many. Yeah,
I run mine all through Plex, so
there you go. We should see if it's in Plex. I bet it is.
Later. Let's do that later.
I'm going to stop doing the live show and search for my podcast in Plex. Anyway, so it's there. This one will be out. I'm going to try to release them like a day later because I just basically take and download the video from Google, pull out the audio, and do some audio compression stuff on it because it sounds goofy if I don't, and out the door it goes.
Okay. I'm gonna get some nice sounds. Do you and I need to have headphones now, and we'll get the full both have boom mics here, and we can just talk into it.
This is fresh air.
Yeah, it'll be NPR all over again.
I really love the smell of those bagels. Whatever weird things that they say. I'm a big podcast listener. I used to be when I used to drive a lot, but now I work from home, and podcasts aren't as important to me anymore. So still listen to Radio Lab, but that's about it. What do you guys listen to as podcasts out there? Let me know. I'd love to hear. I have saved on Spotify under the Me Time. Oh, look at that. See, Josh is there. Oh boy. The chat is already going well. It's funny. They just show. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and speaking of this guy in the chat, Josh, I just want to say, this is a shout out to my buddy Josh. Brandon knows him. A lot of people in the chat know him. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Night Vale. Josh is about to be deployed for a year, so I just wanted to say, shout out to Josh. We're going to miss you, even though we'll still be able to hang out and kind of maybe play games, but your internet's going to suck, and you just need to come to terms with that. You're going to be like your cousin and end up with some like really...
He'll be lagging everywhere in Call of Duty, jumping around the map.
He will just use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Oh no, my internet's really bad. Update game." Yeah. So we're gonna miss you, buddy. We will absolutely will. What did Suburban Barbecue say? He stumbled across the Satanic podcast on Spotify a couple weeks ago and actually enjoyed it. Hey, Satanic people don't even believe in Satan. Christians do. Moving on. All right.
Oh man.
Okay. I don't know. What else you got to talk about? What have you done in your home lab?
I have been playing with TrueNAS Scale and Docker. So I don't know if I mentioned it probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that there was an issue when I ran iSCSI connections over to my VMware.
Right.
And it was just doing awful.
Because VMware in NF, it was iSCSI.
It was iSCSI.
Okay.
No. It wasn't an NFS. I got away from that a little bit, but it was just doing awful, and so I moved everything off. And then the lovely people at TrueNAS clearly did some magic, and there were... I read through the bug report, and there were just a ton, and I couldn't get through them all. But I hit the main points, and whatever that did, it fixed it.
So you have
and now it runs really great throughput. I can max out the writes on all my drives. And then the other thing I've been playing with is Docker, and specifically using Portainer, which is a container orchestrator, if you will.
Yeah, it's management, right?
And for those of you who are new to containers, containers are like a way to run multiple apps in an enclosed environment.
It is application virtualization.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it.
Because operating system virtualization wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it wasn't clean enough.
Yeah, you need to. We need to go deeper. It's like the Inception movies, where like, what if we took the operating system and virtualized it? What if we went deeper and virtualized the application?
But especially if you're in the home lab community or the open source community, it's the new hotness. Everyone wants to Kubernetes or Docker their stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels really good. Like you get the cluster set up and you can just download something from Docker Hub and it works most of the time.
Goes off and does the thing.
You read through. It has usually all the containers have 4 or 5 parameters. You just type them in. You hit create and then just magic and you're like, oh look, I just hit sonar and it'll just go everything. It's really cool. And I was kind of trying to go above and beyond and set up an HA thing. So if I kill a container or kill a node or host by doing Linux updates or something on it, it just fails everything over and restarts all those containers on the next node. So
I've been slowly adopting it. To be honest with you, I'm still like I have 2 Docker servers plus I have Scale and I run a few Docker containers on it.
Okay.
Which shows my just absolutely poor directionless approach to it. But I have an internal Docker server and I have basically a DMZ Docker server, right? That's hosts a few things, and then the inside stuff hosts a few things, and those two do not actually talk to each other. They cannot talk to each other.
That's interesting because what I'm using with Portainer, I can actually go and install an agent on the other one, and it'll talk, and I can say, deploy this container over there.
Yeah, I understand the purpose. I do it because I don't want that stuff to be able to. It's in a DMZ intentionally, so it's prevented from being accessible outside the or getting into the corporate network. My corporate network. My internal corporate network known as my house. Thank you very much, Sean. So yeah, okay, that's awesome, dude. And so, what's the next steps then?
The next steps are to put more containers. The biggest thing I like it, and the reason I like
we need more
the DMZ version especially is game servers, especially when you're trying to do Steam servers with Linux, are awful to set up. There's all sorts of things you have to do, things you need to download, and it just takes a while. Whereas this, I just hit the image, I grab the image, and the image grabs everything for me, and with 5 minutes later, I have a Valheim server up. And if I never need to update it, I just recreate the container, and boop, it grabbed all the new files. It didn't touch any of my data, and it kept moving.
That's awesome.
So that's the big thing is set up the gaming servers, and then some of the if you look at radar and sonar and lidar, which are all media management tools, they're all moving to containers. They really want you to move the container. The only things that I haven't containerized yet, and I've been debating, is Nextcloud, because Nextcloud doesn't recommend it. That's a way you can do it, and they're okay with it. But they're saying they recommend doing a full LAMP stack, good old fashioned way. And especially if you're in an enterprise environment, I would totally do that. It's just you need that horsepower out of a VM. But the other thing is Plex.
Scorpion, thank you for joining us, man. You're not late. We just started about 20 minutes ago. We didn't even start talking about news topics. We're just nerding out on the home lab stuff. Yeah, I don't ever in the short term foresee going I mean, you can totally do Docker containers for it, but from my perspective, I mean, unless things change, native all the way for that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest use of Docker for what I'm thinking of is more commercial use, where you can just make an application the same for multiple tenants all the time, and you don't have to waste an entire VM of resources on that. You can even split it up further. So, but that's been my dive. Also, a big shout out to Portainer.io. They have a Discord server on there, and they helped me out a ton.
Cool.
Figuring out how logs work, how all that stuff worked, and getting up and running. So
cool. That's awesome.
But
so,
I heard there's Bitcoin mining going on.
Oh, dude! So
you had a really good story, and I was so excited to hear about it. So
let me tell you guys a story.
He just told me the title. He didn't tell me anything about it.
So when I tell you the story, I want you guys to really, I want you to think about what kind of human being this is that does this. Okay, there's a guy, and I'm gonna ham this stuff up because I love it. So there's an IT supervisor who's not an IT supervisor anymore. Pretty sure that he's lost his job after this.
Okay.
Anyway, he's a county employee for, I guess for some place in.
Is this Florida Man?
No, it's not. Believe it or not, I got to look at the
Florida Man.
Some Long Island local government office. They didn't specifically say the government.
New York Man, got it.
New York Man. Let's call it. Anyway, New York Man. He got caught. He got caught mining Bitcoin in the company or in the county that the county building he worked in. IT supervisor. This man had 46 different Bitcoining machines hidden in the floors, below the floors, in the walls, in like hidden sub panels.
What?
Let me tell you how he got caught. This dude got caught because there were complaints about internet quality issues and air conditioners failing because of essentially because of heat loads that they weren't designed to handle, and they. That air conditioning, the building's air conditioning. So I have questions, but we'll get to that. So they have been able to basically put together that 10 of the machines racked up about $6,000 in electrical bills. He had 46 machines, so they assume that after everything's all tallied, it's gonna be well over $30,000 of electricity. This dude has been sucking out of this building. Okay, Bitcoin smugglers. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's happened though to other people. Where like there was a Bitcoin farm in China where the government like came in and cracked down, not because they were mining Bitcoin, because they were stealing electricity from the grid. And
but okay, I mean, for some reason I'm like, that's okay. I expect that to happen in China. I don't know why, but I mean that's probably wrong of me. But I was like, okay, I can see that happening. It's kind of could be lawless on that sort of aspect, but no, this dude. I mean, he's an IT dude. He's clearly he clearly runs the place. How he was able to keep Bitcoin miners, I'm assuming they're Bitcoin miners, hidden in literally the article says in the floors and in the walls. How he can keep those things quiet enough, people are not like, it sounds like a jet engine, because those ASIC miners are stupid loud.
Yeah.
They're these high power, high pressure fans, and they're just like, it's just.
I just love that. The floor is making a weird noise. I'm just gonna
Jamie,
leave it.
Thank you for joining us. I want to know how the dude, like, I want you guys to tell me, you out there watching, how does anybody go, this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. This is legal. I'm not going to get in trouble. My employer, the taxpayers, will be totally cool with me running Bitcoin miners.
I was thinking about it. I had a friend when I lived out in Maryland who he was in downtown Baltimore, and he plugged his like phone charger into there was like a wall socket on the side of a lamp.
Okay.
And one of the security, like the police came up and said, "Hey, you need to stop doing that. You're stealing electricity from the city." I can't imagine how a guy thought that more Bitcoin mining machines were okay.
I mean, I'm guessing that he was like, for me though, there's a huge leap here between this is gonna make me look bad. Whatever. There's a huge leap for me between one machine and 46. Like, I don't know why, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I could see this guy buying one and bringing it to work and running and being like, hey, this is cool, look what it does. But then he takes it home. But there's a certain level of like shady malice that you're actually I don't want to use the word install because that's a little grandiose, but like putting them in the building, inside of the building in a way that they're not going to be easily found. That clearly, that's illegal. That's illegal intent, right? He's trying to steal power to do that.
Coming from like where I work is a higher security environment, I'm surprised they were able to reach out and like donate to their wallets and all that.
Oh, I bet you $1 million.
Pop some holes in the.
Well, I mean, he's the IT guy. You can do what you want, but also, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to work for a county. And I was part of their IT stuff, and it was notoriously loose.
Yeah,
like I knew people who would come to work and just download. This was the era of like Napster.
Okay.
And they would run Napster clients on the county machines because it was the fastest connection because it went to the state because the state provided the internet and the internet was fast.
I just need to download Linkin Park .mp3.exe. It's fine. LimeWire is great.
Back then, Brandon, I know that was before your time, but back then, no one put viruses in the MP3s.
That's not true.
I mean, it's anyway. But so I just my point being, 46 straight to jail. Thank you, Michael. Exactly. And what else? And so
45 is the correct number. That is not wrong.
Right. And Scorpion PC is like he used to download stuff at school all the time. I think I did too.
Oh. I remember tunnel websites where you'd go to the website and then you just put in what link you wanted to go to, and it would just tunnel you through 443 onto the.
Through.
Yeah, it would proxy through. So like my school got into blocking Miniclip, and we'd just be like, screw that, tunnel dot whatever, and it would just tunnel us through to Miniclip.
You know, I just got to say that. When I went to school, they didn't have blocking software. The internet, the internet was new enough. They're like, come, everybody sit in front of Netscape Navigator.
Yeah.
This is a Macintosh.
DARPA still ran the internet when you were...
Yeah. I don't believe that Combinode downloaded one song. I don't. I think
Only one.
Everybody on this chat right now has used one form or another back in the day. It was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But I just, again, the dude's got a screw loose. Like, you don't go, okay... in my head, it's like 1. I don't know why 1 is an okay number.
I just don't think he thought he'd get caught. I think he honestly was just like, because there are so many people who, especially when working in technology, who don't understand power requirements and cooling requirements for large infrastructure. And like, this guy just thought, the AC building will just handle it all and they'll never notice. No one will notice because, I mean, we don't really, I guess he was at a county office, so assuming that's a quiet environment. But like
it's office, it's government.
It's just
they're not like hammering railroad
and if you think
ties
about it,
with
no one's there right now.
That's fair, but this has been obviously going on for a while. How long? I don't know.
I mean, a year and a half, right?
At least that's fair.
Went home.
But also, just to show the ineptitude of government in general.
Yeah.
Like, no one who pays the county's electricity was like, hey. We're up like 30K. We're up like 30K this year. Fair. What's going on? And same building? What?
No one's there.
Nobody.
So no one's using it. What the? That's kind of sad.
But it's just I thought that was just bananas. So yeah, he's gonna go to jail. I mean, he's got no leg to stand. He can't be like, I didn't know it was wrong.
He'll just get fined what you said, 30K-ish?
No, I mean, because he's stealing from taxpayers.
Yeah.
And so they kind of have to make they got to make a point out of him, or what do they call it? An example. Yeah. He's got to be made an example of, because I don't know what is it called, guys out there? I meif is there a name for defrauding tax? It's probably defrauding taxpayers month, right?
There is definitely a name. I just can't remember it either.
So if you found out that was your county and that your taxpayer money, like, I don't know, your county sales tax was paying for his Bitcoin, how would you feel?
I just want some Bitcoin.
You're just like, hey, I'll just take that $6,000 in Bitcoin.
Just drop a couple in my wallet and it'll be good. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Scapegoat, yeah. We'll see, dude. We will see. That'll be interesting to see what. Someone's at my friend.
Apparently.
But okay, that was all I had to say about that. But I just thought it was pretty bananas. Pretty bananas. People do some dumb stuff, no question about it. But that is really dumb.
Yeah.
Really dumb.
I have another dumb story.
Hit me with the dumb story.
It involves crypto. Do you know Walmart's going to support Litecoin?
Litecoin?
Litecoin.
LTC.
Yeah.
Why?
They're not.
Oh.
That was a complete joke. But it caused Litecoin to shoot up by like 100% in value, and then rocket when Walmart was like, no, we're not doing that.
And crash afterwards.
And it's almost like crypto isn't regulated or something.
It's crypto is like the pump and dump still exists.
Oh, the pump and dump existed the whole time. That was the whole point, right? Was you wanted to either get in at the very bottom, or you wanted to be part of the pump and, and you get off before the dump happened.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I when I first started getting into cryptocurrency, like the mining stuff, I remember watching. People think it's the wild west now, but like 3 years ago it was even more. 4 years ago it was even more wild west, where you could watch it and be like, oh, it jumped up 300%, now it's crashed down, and it's like amazing. It's gotten even, like, if anything, it's gotten more mature and mundane than it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, now it's proof of stake and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna change. It's gonna absolutely change. But so that happened.
Yeah, that was it. It freaked out a bunch of people, and they were like, Litecoin's going to the moon, blah blah blah. And then Walmart was like, no, guys, like as much as there seems to be, like, I think it was it El Salvador decided to tie their currency to it or something.
No, they're accepted as
Bitcoin.
A currency. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a valid
and then
currency.
It just took a nosedive, and they've just had all sorts of economic problems with tying it to that.
I mean,
which no surprise.
No, I mean, if you're doing that, if a country is universally accepting a cryptocurrency, and you know that it's not like regulated in any way, shape, or form, you are in a bad situation before you do it. You're not just going, I'm on the forefront of modern digital e-commerce. No, this is like, we're in a really bad place.
We need to figure this out.
This can't make it any worse, can it? Oh yes, it can always get worse.
Always be worse. Yeah. But I thought that was a little like news, little tidbit there on like.
I think I even read this week that didn't Elon Musk name a dog Shiba Inu, or get a dog? It was a Shiba Inu, and all of a sudden the
Doge was like, let's fly.
Yeah, another one, it took off and then crashed shortly afterwards too. So
yeah. It's still the wild west, not as it was before, but no official government support yet, or
is it the
yet.
wild west or just the wild west? Like,
Probably.
we tamed
I
from
think
one.
We've probably taken a wild off, but mostly because a lot of the algorithms have decided it's proof of stake time. We're out of computing things, especially since there's a lot of pressure now to like not destroy the planet.
Can you believe that had to happen? Like,
people that was the motivator.
I mean, human beings are always going to choose greed over the right thing to do. That's just that, unfortunately, built into us. But no. In Combino, it says the same amount of rationale goes through the stock market. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, although it's illegal to do a pump and dump, excuse me.
Illegal. I mean,
it is absolutely illegal to pump and dump in the regular stock market.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I believe so.
I don't know. They got really butthurt when everyone bought AMC and GameStop. So I don't.
A Shiba Inu, yes.
Yep.
I said Shiba.
You did, yeah.
I think Shiba. That
Kiwi understood.
Kiwi understood. Thank you for keeping me honest. Yeah. Pumpkin drunk girls ready.
Yikes.
Yes, Combinone. The pumpkin dunk girls are getting ready for fall. That's right. Outsider trading's best trading. Yeah. We're all outsiders on that.
That's what it is. You just tell everyone you're going to do it, and then everyone does it with you. And it's great.
Yeah. That's what Wall Street Bets is all about. Moving on, shall we? Hot on the heels of last week's conversation, we talked about how NVIDIA, we're expecting to see the 4000 series GPUs land second half of 2022.
Okay.
Guess what?
I said this last time. Everyone's still making GPUs. They want to go faster. You just don't get to have one.
Right. So AMD's next-gen RDNA 3s, who they speculate will be at least 50% or more performant over the RDNA 2 chips, will also be available second half of 2022. I shouldn't say second quarter. Second half. So sometime between July and December of 2022. Perfect time to have a little standoff between Team Red and Team Green.
Yeah. A standoff with no one holding a gun because no one can produce anything.
It would be, her name is Susan.
Yeah.
And
Lisa Sue and Jensen.
Huang. Like, just go over and like shake hands, right? And that's what they do. Be like, high five each other. Like, and no one's getting a card. But the other thing that these rumors are purporting is that the RDNA 3 cards are going to be all more expensive. Like there's going to be an increase in costs from the RDNA to RX 6000 generation GPUs across the board. In some cases, they're like, like when you would have bought a 6600 before for that price, the 66 or 7600 will be the price of the 60 or they're moving up. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. So the 6700 will be as expensive, or the 76.
Yeah, they're all numbers, but basically what you're trying to say is the 7000 series will be slightly more expensive.
Not slightly. In some
significantly
cases,
more expensive at every price point.
Yeah, and there's even speculation that the RDNA 4 GPUs, which are looking at 2024, will be like, I know we're talking so far in the future. That's how good
I can't even imagine. Like I haven't seen enough graphics cards to hit that price point yet.
Yeah, well, that's how well it's going for these guys, right? That they literally can be like, oh, you know what? No problem. We can outlook this far in the future, and we know we'll hit it because we don't have a problem with money.
Yeah,
we got all the money we need. We just can't make any cards. But they, like their top end card in the 8000 series is speculated being around $2,400.
Wow.
Yeah, compared to like the top end card of the 6900, right? That was. Jeez, what was that? I gotta look and see on here.
6900 is about $1,000.
Yeah, so I mean
that was supposed to be equal to a 3080.
That's fair.
Because that was my question is like, do these next gen RDNA 3s actually catch up to NVIDIA in any meaningful way, along with the software enhancements? Because that was the real big thing you wanted the 3000 was one, ray tracing, which I personally couldn't care less about. But apparently it's becoming a big thing now because it's new and shiny. But DLSS and what they called Fidelity FX, those were not equal. And AMD, while they did push it out, I think recently, and it was better, it needs to be ahead or at least equal to NVIDIA's before you start making those cards that are actually helpful for those things.
Right. Scorpion. I'm trying to do the math in my head here. For example, to give you a price, like the 6600 XT card goes for basically 380, right? 379.
Yeah.
And the 7600 XT is going to go for 400. So there's a $20 increase on that, but it doesn't scale linearly like that. The higher performance cards become even more expensive.
Well, and that's my question is, with these 7000s, did they use HBM2 memory? Because I remember that was the thing that made those Vegas so expensive.
We don't know what the actual hardware looks like, other than it's just an RDNA.
GDDR8 or whatever we'll be at by then.
Yeah, it can be anything. It's going to be actually the GDDRR8 Niner on a walkie-talkie. It's so new, Brandon, that it doesn't even exist outside of what I just said.
It's just chip diagrams somewhere.
It traces the rays. Exactly. But speaking of GPUs, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
I saw that Time Magazine named NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang the most influential human of 2021.
You agree?
I'm a little bit mixed on it.
It's not Mr. Elon?
Oh, no, he was one of them in there. He was in the list. But he's too polarizing of an individual. Nobody can hate Jensen Huang because he's got such a nice bowl of spatulas.
That is fair. He does have a very nice kitchen.
He does, that he never uses.
Yeah, I truly don't think that dude is ever in that house to cook.
No, he's probably busy.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think, there's a video on Time if you want to go look at it. And it actually does a really good job of breaking down what NVIDIA does in a way that's for non-tech people. Mm-hmm. Because I was definitely reading this, and the first time I was like, oh, this is really pretentious. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh, this is for the normies, if you will, who aren't, who don't want to know about the next,
right,
quantum core to make their processor faster.
It's
whatever,
easy for them to talk about, like, Time Magazine can talk about Elon Musk pretty easily because they can be like, he makes electric cars. And they're like, yeah, right? Yeah. But when you get somebody who's like the head of the juggernaut, which is video games and AI and just a whole bunch of crazy stuff, it's kind of hard to really like explain to the layperson what exactly makes this person, actually special, right?
Yeah.
He's not just CEO just has big buckets of money, which he does. But I had a feeling though. Can I just say I bag on Elon Musk all the time because honestly, he's crazy. We John calls him. He's a Bond villain without a volcanic layer.
Volcano layer.
But
right.
There are times that I get like the distinct impression that NVIDIA might be inadvertently Skynet.
Yeah.
We just haven't put it together. Skynet, if anyone here doesn't know, I'm talking about Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Right. That was Skynet became self-aware, and then from there, all of the bad things happened, right?
Yeah. I don't think they're Skynet. I think they're the supplier of Skynet. They just keep pumping out what becomes Skynet in the future. They don't have quite the software for it, but they're cranking out all the hardware.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The thing is, Skynet wasn't trying to destroy the world, and Jensen Huang's and his AI and his hardware to make AI more efficient and more effective. He's not trying to destroy the world.
I mean, we don't know that.
I mean, what a twist! Right?
Yeah, I'm like, are we sure? Like, we don't really know that.
Oh, we have to translate that because
I don't know what that says.
I can't. I don't. What is it? Someone translate what that guy said in the chat because I can't. Just look it up. Whatever. I have to do it. Sorry. Anyway. Konnichiwa. Okay. What do you got? You got anything else?
Well, something happened on Thursday. It's just a little event.
Oh yeah, just a little. Was it Thursday? I thought it was the 15th. It was on the 15th.
It was Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah. I don't.
You want? I'm gonna look up.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look up what the dude said.
It was a tiny,
translating. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great. Well, that's cool.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Spam.
You'll need to do that. Block him. I don't have.
How do I
have
do
that?
I don't.
But so
this is why we need a person in the chat to do the blocking for us. Anyway, let's talk about the Apple event while I clean up spammy spam.
So a small event happened in Cupertino. Event. Not in Cupertino, but a streaming event.
It never happens in
Apple
Cupertino.
Announced its new hardware.
Okay.
They announced the iPhone 13.
Yes.
The iPhone, and along that with a full 1 terabyte option, which you'll need because those nice new cameras are now capable of doing ProRes footage.
Okay.
As someone who is a video editor, does this mean anything to you?
It means a lot to John. Absolutely.
Okay, I understand that's really cool. Does John ever shoot on his iPhone?
No, nobody. I mean,
like they have 2 celebrities who are, I think they're directors or something. They're like, this is going to change the way we do video, and I'm like, is it
with our shaky cam?
Yeah, well, and it's like with the shaky camera or with the fact that every time I see shot on an iPhone, it's got some $7,000 enclosure the iPhone's in, so that it moves slowly and all that.
Right. Yeah. Like it's on. It's on a. Yeah. Exactly.
So like, what? Like I think it's cool, but why would I want that on my iPhone? Like I appreciate that these are really good cameras. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like I get amazing shots off the iPhone, but going to ProRes just feels like clogging up my hard drive for no reason.
It'll be like I got one better for you, comment on. It's not just the highest quality vertical video; it's the highest quality TikTok vertical video ever. Right?
Reels to the max.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that the answer is that it's just become so damn easy for them to make phones that have quality enough optics in it that they can record, and there's enough unused CPU power in those phones that they can encode it in ProRes and store it. ProRes, the thing about ProRes, and I'm going to speak for John because John's not here to defend himself, is that from an editor standpoint, ProRes is one of those like de facto video editing formats because unlike like H.264, which is what typically MPEG-4 is, which has a keyframe every few chunks of frames of video, ProRes is progressive. So every single frame is a real frame. So when you edit, you don't have to do anything for, what does he call it? There's a thing he's got to do to the video to make it easy. Proxies doesn't work. It's video editing. It's complicated. Yeah. It's complicated. John's not here to defend himself, so whatever. Having it like that means that you could take that video and then you could bring it straight into your project. But you're right. Those people who are shooting videos on those phones, they're on tracks and those things are moving. They're automated robotics.
And I can't see someone, especially someone who takes a TikTok, that they would want that ProRes ability. Like maybe I'm wrong. I'm not, while I am part of the YouTube channel, I'm not the content creation side of the YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe John's going to do all his B-roll now on the iPhone. We'll just get him a 13 and MacBook Air, and he'll be way ahead of our $4,000 rig we got.
But Scorpion PC said, "Do you think that this is Apple's way of saying that we've hit the wall in camera technology? So here's professional formats." You're probably right.
To a degree,
You're probably.
I think so.
I think we're reaching peak camera in this
for
case.
now, because you have, if you want to make it better, you have to have an aperture and a lens, and you can't make that lens leave the phone too much. No one really likes to carry around those.
With that, I mean, if you've seen pictures of the iPhone 13, it actually sits out quite a
little bit, yeah.
But also speaking of that, like the thing is, and I can speak for the sensor side of cameras.
Oh yeah.
The smaller the sensor is, the less actually. I mean, they're able to do some incredible things with the sensors. Don't get me wrong, but when you have a CCD sensor that is that small compared to like the film cameras they use when they film these movies, have these big, massive 35 millimeter sensors, full frame sensors, because they can consume so much light. You don't have to pack it in there. You have better quality overall. Yeah. So it's amazing that they've got this, but yeah, I mean, it's cool for marketing.
Yeah, and it only gets me mad because we have awful webcams.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I was like, we are pushing camera phone technology so great, like so far. Even like your FaceTime camera on your phone is just leagues above what even is on the Apple Mac today. Yeah. And I'm just why can't we just put a decent webcam, even in Apple, who still believes in bezels for the most part, right? Like most of if you look at Dell's or HP line, they've definitely gone to this like really thin,
super thin
bezels. I want things to catch up in that way.
I mean, it's because there's no money behind it, I guess, right?
But that's fair.
Josh would like you to stream your Destiny 2 live because you need to be a content creator.
That's fair. I've done that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Anybody want to watch people play Destiny?
I think there's definitely a lot. You just need to be somewhat of a personality to it, and unfortunately, I'm very boring.
You're just and you have that mechanical keyboard with those blue switches.
Okay,
it's like clickety clack clack clickety clickety clack.
I was sitting with my friends; they don't hear any of that, so
they're
I don't
lying
know
to you.
what
they're lying to you.
I don't.
Your friends
think
are lying
so.
to you. Your friends are like, I don't want to hurt.
Are you gaslighting me?
No. Why would what? No.
Anywho, other things at Apple. I really liked the iPad Mini.
Yeah,
I really wanted it, and I don't know why. Because it used to be that weird device where I was like, is it a phone? Is it a tablet?
Well, I mean, it's just a small. It's like a small.
But then I saw the Surface Duo, and I'm like, oh, well, that's the Apple version of the Duo until they figure out the screen part.
You think so? I mean, I had a Mini a while back, and it was fine. It was just a small.
Did your Mini have cellular on it?
No.
That's the big thing in this one.
Is it no matter what they're all have cellular?
No, it can. I mean, it's
but
50/50,
I mean
right?
that's sure. All of them could have cellular of some level, right?
Yeah.
I didn't pay for the cellular because an extra like $250 for a radio I'm never going to use. But
that's fair.
You didn't. Okay, before let's go back. Let's talk about the 13s real quick. So
sorry, because I was jumping ahead.
All right. So first off, there's a 13 Mini, a 13, a 13 Pro, and a 13 Pro Max. The Mini.
They made the Mini again.
They did. John loves his Mini.
Really?
He thinks it's the best thing. He likes. Huh. He's got little hands. He's got little hands. So,
that's fair.
Sorry,
that's fair.
John. You got little hands. He's not here to defend himself, guys.
He's a free target.
Yeah, he's a free target. The Mini starts at $730. The 13 starts at $830. The Pro, I'm looking through my notes here. The Pro starts at $1,000, and the Pro Max, which is the big Pro, is $1,100 basically. Oh, and all of it's available on the 24th.
It's hard for me to think $1,100 for a phone. Like even when I look at like the Galaxy Z Fold or
but they're so cool.
They do, but like oh god, I have to give $1,000 away for a phone that will last maybe 2 years.
Maybe you'll take better care of it.
Maybe
you actually pay for it yourself.
I always put them in giant cases anyways because I know I'm not going to be nice to it. Yeah. So, but hey, MW. So thank you, MW. I will be getting. You gonna get one?
I have a 10s Max.
Okay.
It is old now by the 13 standards. Like
your 3 generations. It's usually upgrade time.
Yeah, 350 should be enough. But I haven't worked this out with my wife yet. But I'm gonna get one.
This is news.
And I want the Max because I like the big phone. I do.
Yeah.
I've been an Apple user all of this time, and as an Apple user, I was always jealous of the giant Samsung and the well, I can't remember the other bits, but they always had big phones in Android, and Apple's like, no, nobody wants a big phone.
Everyone wants to be able to use their thumb on one, and then I think Apple had to get over that.
They did, because everyone was like, I'm going to go to Samsung, I want a big phone. So I will still continue to get a big phone, and yeah, I ask me in a couple months if I have one, and if I'm like, oh, I got it, then obviously I won the battle, but you know how that goes. I know I have a good phone. Oh, I have a flip phone from China that is shaped like a race car. There was a gift from a viewer.
Oh my
God. And it is really great. When I turn the phone on, it goes vroom vroom. But it's GPRS, and so it's not supported anywhere anymore.
Yikes.
But it's really neat, and it takes really terrible photos.
I still miss my dad had a Nokia that was like one of the
like a candy bar phone.
Candy bar phone with green backlit. It didn't even have color. You could throw that thing against walls, run it over with cars.
Oh, yeah.
It survived. And the best feature about it was it had that antenna and then the new one. And so it worked anywhere. And it was nice. Amazing. But
I just remember the Scorpion PC. The one thing that does the new ones, the Pros that is, they have that LiDAR built into them. That's the other thing they've got. And the cameras are I mean, the camera in your 10 is great. The camera in the 13 is bananas great, because every time Apple releases, like we were just talking, iteratively speaking, the cameras are even greater than before. But at a certain, again, it's diminishing returns. Like you said, you're gonna be shooting in ProRes. Why?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you shoot videos? Like, I mean, honestly, what's missing from Two Guys Tech is more videos of Zen. That's
my dog.
Truly missing.
Get more. Yeah.
So, but I mean, do you feel like you're really going to take a lot of videos with it? I mean,
no.
like, do you?
I'll take pictures of
waterfalls
outside,
and
waterfalls.
You know, you live in Oregon. You have to.
Yeah, I can take pictures of that. But I mean, okay. Anyway, yeah. No, I don't think you. There's no reason to upgrade. There not yet. Not till. Not unless you need to get into because the 10s were not. They're 4G. They're not 5G.
Yeah,
right?
You can get the 5G.
Yeah, you can get the 5G.
All that good 5Gs.
Yeah, everywhere else that drops to 4G as soon as you leave a metropolitan area. No, there's no 5G out here.
Well, okay, you're in Newburgh. I'm sorry.
So, what else? You already mentioned
I talked the iPad Mini, which I really like, and now has Apple Fancy Pencil support, and
it's bigger. It's an 8.3. It's a bigger display.
And they have the Magic FaceTime multi-focus, whatever they call that. I forget. It's it has some fancy Apple name, of course, to it, but
the Apple Magic FaceTime. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's close enough.
It also has a fingerprint reader on it.
Yeah,
on the button.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
On the button,
and I'm like,
it's got to be a big ass button.
Could have done that right here.
You have the face unlock, which is better.
which unless you have an Apple Watch, doesn't work when you have a mask. So
yeah, that's by intention.
Oh yeah, I know.
Speaking of that, they also announced a new Apple Watch.
I was disappointed.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie.
It's bigger.
I saw the fake leaks on the flat one, and I was like, "Woo, that looks great."
Where'd they put the battery?
Yeah, well,
they had to make it bigger so it lasts
longer. I
longer.
didn't say it was gonna work engineer wise. I just thought it was cool. Come on. Yeah. But did you see the fall detection thing?
I thought that the 6s had that.
Well, they kind of did. They made a big point of it about maybe it's coming in the upgrade. That's what it is. Okay. They made a really big point about it where you fall off a bike and your watch will be doot doot. Are you okay? Should I call help?
How am I falling off my bicycle? Well, I know that they sold it you put this watch on your elderly mom or grandmother and something about their day, and then they fall down and it'll help them. Great. Are they going to take it off every night and charge it because the damn thing only holds a day's worth of power? What if they're in the bathtub and they didn't want to get their $700 deal?
As much as people complain about the battery only lasting a day, I mean, people charge it every night and it works, right?
I charge mine during the day and I sleep with it at night because I want the sleep tracking stuff.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But I mean, the other thing, and this is an old feature from Apple, is I really like all the health stuff they do. Mm-hmm. I think it was during some Super Bowl game where a really exciting play happened. And everyone got really excited, and throughout that entire of the fans, you could see their heart. Their Apple Watches thought they were having heart attacks because of how excited they were.
But remember, it says that it can't detect a heart attack. But
it can't. But it asked, and it was
"Are you having a heart attack?"
Yeah, it basically
right
asked and was like, "Hey, your heart rate's really weird. You wanna check it out? Go call a doctor."
Did sports happen? No, you're having a heart attack. And lastly. Yeah. iOS 15 becomes available on the 20th.
Oh, okay.
which is Monday. Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah.
So I've already decided I'm going to upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am often forced to per my company phone
for
and
sure.
stuff, but I looked at the people who were talking about it, and it seems to be good. So far so good. Not some really helpful stuff in like weather and stuff, but not incredibly big changes. But
I mean, Scorpion PC is that if you have an Apple Watch and everyone starts showing up, then you have some big problems. That's for sure. What else you got? Anything else? Or we're running because we've been chatting for almost an hour.
Have. Yeah, I think we'll call it there. I think wrapping up on the Apple stuff is a good ender.
Okay. Brandon wants me to tell you guys.
Yes, I want to know, where did you get this awesome hat and shirt?
Well, the hat, you can't get the hat.
You can't get the hat?
They can't get the hats because they're...
I guess since I'm in charge of the merch, I should fix that.
Yeah. So
sad.
Brandon wants you to know that we do have swag. If it's something you want to help support the channel.
If you would like, I don't know if you guys saw in the beginning of our show, John currently gets locked in the editing dungeon. If you would like to free John, you should buy a shirt.
If you wish for John to see the light of day, you will buy that shirt.
Yeah, you should buy a shirt, and we have a membership on YouTube.
Oh, hey, yeah,
so
that's
we
right.
should, if you guys would like to support us in other ways, let Rich and John pull out their hair at Adobe Premiere and all the other sort of goofy tech stuff we do. We have that up now, so get subscribed. We'll do some custom content. I don't think we have any members yet, so maybe one of you can be the first.
Yeah, that's true. We got some great videos coming out soon. We got.
What's on the docket?
I can't talk about a bunch of it because a lot of it's like held
secret.
back. Well, it's, it's like products haven't been released yet, so we can't talk about it. We have like just a pile of new gear to review. So I'm happy that I see. Granted, we're not looking at GPUs, we're not looking at CPUs really.
No.
But there's still a lot of stuff that's being made out there. I hope the PC market fully recovers.
Yeah, I think it'll have like a snap.
Scorpion, it's not available in Scorpion PC's country. So you get a hold of that Susan Wachowski lady.
Let me just ring up the YouTube people and be like, hey, YouTube, drop it in Egypt.
Right. So, but otherwise, I think that's about it. Again, we got a podcast. It's just this. So if you're not here, NordVPN not work.
That's fair, but
okay.
But yeah, get caught up with the podcast.
Yeah, we got a podcast. So it's just the show. But it's cool. It's cool if you want to. I mean, I think it's awesome that somebody would want to listen to it if they can't catch the live show.
Yeah, I think it would be perfect. Great medium for that.
All right, guys. We will see you next Friday.
I'm not here. I'm gonna be replaced with the John.
Yeah. So I will be the stable fixture of the group while these two phase in and out of existence. Thank you so much for joining us. I will see you next week. You won't. So
catch you all later.
See ya.